Man accused of killing and then his parents.
One that had to see all this, and I'm very sorry that this evil's had to come into their life too. Never get to hear his laugh again, or his just incredible hugs.
He's smart. He's smart enough to know that once his mom retires, once she quits her job, that insurance money's gone. He isn't getting that.
We saw the crime scene that had investigators in shock. They told the courts they didn't know where to even start.
It would be described as horrific, a very gruesome crime scene. Some of us have seen scenes like this. They are very, very rare. It's in the 1 percentile of homicides in the United States that involve mutilation or dismemberment.
On November 26, 2016, 28-year-old Joel Guy Jr. committed a horrifying act of violence, brutally stabbing his father, Joel Guy Sr., and his mother, Lisa Guy, multiple times. This gruesome crime occurred just days after the family had come together to celebrate Thanksgiving. After murdering his parents, Joel Jr. took the horrific step of attempting to dismember their bodies. He used chemicals in an effort to dissolve the remains, placing them in large plastic bins filled with a homemade acidic solution. Joel Jr. had been financially dependent on his parents for years. However, with his parents planning to retire and cut him off financially, investigators believe this was the motive behind the shocking murders.
Well, the week before, they were at the house, and we were talking about what they were going to do, and they said that they were going to wait till Christmas to talk to Joel Michael, that they were going to have him to start paying his bills and stuff.
The Guy family's Thanksgiving had seemed peaceful, filled with love and warmth. Joel and Lisa Guy were deeply devoted to one another, often described as true soulmates who had been happily married for over 30 years. They had invited their children to their home for the holiday, unaware that this gathering would be their last. Just 2 days later, their family home, once a place of comfort, became the site of unimaginable horror. Police described the scene as a house of horrors, littered with scattered body parts, the pungent stench of chemicals filling the air, and an unfathomable discovery, a human head boiling in a pot on the stovetop. Before we begin, we want to extend our deepest condolences to the 3 daughters of Joel and Lisa Guy, as well as to their friends and loved ones. This unimaginable loss has left a void that can never be filled, and our thoughts are with all those who knew and cherished Joel and Lisa during this difficult time. We also hope that sharing their story serves as a sobering reminder to value the relationships we hold dear and to remain vigilant about the trust we place in others. This story takes us to Knoxville, Tennessee, which is nestled in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, is a vibrant city rich in history, culture, and natural beauty. Known as the gateway to the Smokies, visitors can explore Market Square, a lively hub of restaurants, shops, and entertainment, or take a stroll along the scenic Tennessee River via the city's extensive greenways. Home to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville also has a strong college town vibe, with sports, arts, and education playing a significant role in the community. The city's past is woven into landmarks like the Sun Sphere, a symbol of the 1982 World's Fair, and its neighborhoods reflect a mix of Appalachian heritage and contemporary development. Knoxville's blend of urban energy and access to outdoor adventure makes it a unique and inviting destination in East Tennessee. This is the horrible story of Joel and Lisa Guy begins with a love that seemed destined to last a lifetime. Joel Guy Sr., a pipeline engineer born in 1955, came into the relationship with 3 daughters from a previous marriage. When he met Lisa, it was clear they shared something special. Their family grew with the birth of their only child together, Joel Michael Guy Jr., born in 1988. Despite the blended family dynamics, Joel's older daughters spoke fondly of Lisa, describing her as a truly loving mother to all of them.
Lisa, when Michelle and I were 3, they met, and she's been like a second mother to us.
By the way, we post true crime stories and strange cases. If this interests you, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support means a lot and helps us continue sharing this content. After 31 years of marriage, the couple was on the cusp of an exciting new chapter. They had made plans to retire and had already purchased a house in Serville, Tennessee, eagerly anticipating the peaceful years ahead. Their Knoxville home was set to be sold, and they were looking forward to spending more quality time together.
Are you aware of Lisa's plans to retire?
Yes, she was excited about retiring, and
just spending her time. They were madly in love, so just spending time with each other.
The 2016 Thanksgiving seemed like a perfect farewell celebration to their longtime family home. That Thanksgiving Day was filled with family, laughter, and seemingly ordinary moments. Joel Jr., typically reserved and quiet, surprised his half-sister Michelle by being unusually engaging with her children. Michelle later recalled feeling there was something different about her brother that day, a subtle hint of something more meaningful that she couldn't quite put her finger on.
If Joel Michael Jr. was there, he wasn't ever hanging with us doing that banter. He would be in his room.
And at some point, did he interact, though, with your children?
The Thanksgiving was different. The Thanksgiving was completely different. The moment that I arrived, Joel Michael Jr. was talking to us, and he had never. I'm not sure Joel Michael Jr. knew my kids' names, and so for him to talk to them was odd.
After the festivities, Joel's 3 daughters left with their children, leaving Joel Sr., Lisa, and Joel Jr. alone in the house. Although Joel Jr. had an apartment in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, he had been staying with his parents. Once a promising medical student with dreams of becoming a plastic surgeon, Joel Jr. had dropped out of Louisiana State University in 2015 and had been financially dependent on his parents since then. On the afternoon of Saturday, November 26th, just 2 days after Thanksgiving, Lisa went about her routine shopping, stopping at the local Walmart around 3 p.m. Little did she know how dramatically her life was about to change. On the same day Lisa went shopping, her son Joel Jr. was also spotted at the Walmart, purchasing an unsettling combination of bandages and chemicals. The next day, Sunday, November 27, 2016, Joel Jr. left the Knoxville house, seemingly concerned about some cuts on his hand. He drove back to Baton Rouge to get medical attention at the student clinic. At the time, neither his shopping nor his medical visit seemed particularly alarming. However, things took a concerning turn on Monday, November 28. Lisa failed to show up for work, which immediately raised red flags for her boss, Jennifer White. The company was actually preparing to throw Lisa a retirement party, making her absence even more unusual. She wasn't responding to calls on her home phone or mobile, which was completely out of character. Increasingly worried about Lisa's safety, Jennifer made the decision to contact 911 and request a welfare check on the Guy family.
Knoxville Police Communications Center. Yes, I have an employee that has not reported for work today, and highly unlike her. I've tried calling her home number, I've tried calling cell phone, and can't get a hold of her. What can we do about that? Can somebody go by and check on them?
Yeah, do you know her address?
I do.
What is that?
It is Golden View Lane.
Okay. And what is your name, ma'am?
My name is Jennifer Whited, Whited.
And what company are you with?
Jacobs Engineering.
Okay, what's the employee's name?
Lisa Guy, Guy. Her husband's name is Joel, Joel.
Should he be there too? Does he live with her?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
And they do have a dog named Jake. I think he's a big baby.
Okay. How old is she, do you know?
She is in her, I think, late 50s.
Do you know if she has any medical issues?
No, I mean, she has high blood pressure, but that's all. That's all that I know of. Yeah, I know that their house is for sale, and they are moving, and she is leaving our company, but that's supposed to be Friday, and this definitely isn't like her just not to show up.
Okay. I'll send a call over to officers, have them swing by and check on her. And if anything changes before then, just give us a call back here, okay?
At the same number?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Officer Stephen Ballard was assigned to the initial welfare check. He arrived at the family home and rang the doorbell, but received no response. After walking around to the back of the house, he found the gate locked and inexplicably took no further action. But Lisa's boss wasn't satisfied. Within a couple of hours, she called 911 again, insisting on another welfare check. This time, Detective Stephen Ballard returned, accompanied by Detective Jeremy McCord. Peering through the windows, they noticed something was terribly wrong. Groceries were scattered across the floor, perishable items like milk and bacon left carelessly about. Despite the house being for sale, there was no real estate lockbox in sight. They also observed that the back doorknob was mysteriously missing. Eventually, the detectives gained access through the garage door. The moment they entered, an intense heat enveloped them, the first chilling indication that something was horrifically amiss.
I actually feel a tingling on my forehead from the time that I entered the home. As we continue on and start up the steps, the heat is more intense. It seems to be getting hotter.
Inside, the scene grew increasingly bizarre and unsettling. Guns were meticulously lined up on the dining room table, creating an atmosphere of premeditation and danger. The smell of chemicals was overwhelmingly strong. Detective Ballard later reported that the toxic air was so potent, it made his forehead tingle, a disturbing sensory hint of the nightmare that was about to unfold.
There were 3 cases of beer, perishables, there was breakfast meat, stuff like that in bags that you could just see sitting there. And then immediately to the right is a formal dining room that had a large amount of long guns laying there. I think there was a red velvet cake at the end of the table. It's just stuck out. And
so taking into account everything you've witnessed thus far, the circumstances present outside as well as what you observed inside, how are you feeling at this point?
It's terrifying because you don't know if somebody needs some help. I mean, it's just an odd situation. There's nothing downstairs that I'm observing that makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we go through houses and we clear houses regularly, and most of the time, if you encounter something, you kind of know right when you get in. This was a very different situation because once we get upstairs, it's like the world does a 180. Okay. Everything gets turned upside down.
As they moved upstairs, their worst fears were about to be confirmed. What they discovered was a scene of unimaginable horror. A pair of human hands lying at the end of the hallway, a grotesque and shocking sight that would mark the beginning of a terrifying investigation.
I see a human hand. It was lying in an upright position with another human hand that was closed fist behind it.
Downstairs, an even more horrifying scene awaited the investigators. The kitchen had transformed into something beyond a nightmare, a crime scene so horrific that the officers immediately realized they couldn't proceed without additional support. They left the property, understanding the magnitude of what they'd discovered. The house was technically empty, but empty of anything living. Backup arrived quickly, and forensic investigators analyzed the scene. Their first chilling observation was a large stockpot sitting on the stove, still hot, an ominous detail that suggested recent, deliberate activity. As they moved through the house, they discovered reddish-brown stains trailing up the stairs, smeared along the walls and banisters, silent witnesses to an unspeakable violence. The bathroom revealed the most disturbing evidence. Alongside a weapon carelessly left in the sink, 2 blue tubs contained a horrifying mixture of liquid and human flesh fragments. Nearly every room was a testament to a meticulously planned horror, chemicals and weapons scattered about, blood splattered everywhere, painting a picture of premeditated violence. The occasional third resident, Joel Jr., was conspicuously absent. He was alive, and law enforcement quickly placed him under surveillance. Becoming the primary and only suspect, Joel Jr. was ultimately apprehended on Tuesday, November 29, 2016 in Baton Rouge. The discovery of a meat grinder in the trunk of his car only added to the mounting evidence against him. What had happened to Lisa and Joel Guy Sr.? It was devastatingly clear they had been murdered, and their own son was the prime suspect. But the burning question remained, why? The breakthrough came from an unexpected source, a black notebook found in a backpack inside the house. This seemingly ordinary item would prove to be the key to understanding the entire tragedy. Inside, Joel Jr. had methodically written detailed checklists, not of groceries or daily tasks, but of equipment needed and the precise steps he would take to murder his own parents. The notebook was a cold, calculated roadmap of destruction, revealing a level of planning that was as meticulous as it was terrifying. Each page was a window into a mind capable of contemplating the unthinkable, the calculated elimination of the very people who had loved and supported him. The notebook, horrifically dubbed the Book of Premeditation, revealed a horrifying truth. Joel Jr. had been meticulously planning this murderous scheme for days, possibly weeks. As early as November 7th, nearly 20 days before the actual murders, CCTV footage captured Joel Jr. purchasing specific items that would later become crucial to his heinous plan, including hydrogen peroxide. His internet search history painted an equally disturbing picture. Searches for chemicals like sodium percarbonate, the active ingredient in OxyClean, demonstrated the calculated nature of his preparation. Joel Jr.'s intricate plan was to eliminate both his parents and cunningly frame his father for the crime. He strategized every detail, intending to clean the crime scene and partially burn the house to destroy evidence. Even the temperature was a calculated element. He planned to crank up the thermostat to its maximum, hoping to obliterate any trace of his monstrous actions.
In a case where somebody is charged with premeditated murder, and I've tried many premeditated homicides, usually you have to put premeditation together circumstantially. And many times I have argued to a jury that you will have to put facts A, B, C, D, and E together to prove this element of premeditation. It's not like you'll have a notebook or an outline or a diary entry that's going to tell you every time. And how ironic that I finally got a case where I have that. That's exactly what we have. We have basically what amounts to a diary that outlines a plan of intention to kill. And we have a motive.
As investigators pieced together the evidence, a terrifying timeline of events emerged. On Saturday, November 26th, with Lisa out shopping, Joel Jr. launched his attack on his father in the upstairs exercise room. Police later noted the room's disarray, indicating Joel Sr. had fought desperately for his life. Despite his resistance, Joel Jr. overpowered him, launching a brutal knife assault that saw over 40 stab wounds. Lisa returned home just after midday, grocery bags in hand, completely unaware of the nightmare awaiting her. Perhaps she heard a sound or noticed something amiss. She dropped her groceries, scattering them across the floor, and rushed upstairs, but tragically, she was too late to save her husband. Her son was waiting. In a shocking act of unimaginable violence, Joel Jr. attacked and killed his mother, inflicting at least 31 stab wounds. But his brutality didn't end there. In a grotesque display of depravity, he placed his mother's head in a stock pot on the stove, turning it on to ensure her head would boil. During the attack, Joel Jr. sustained a deep cut on his left thumb. Seemingly unfazed by the carnage he had just committed, he calmly walked to Walmart at 3:30 p.m., purchasing bandages, ointment, and more chemicals. Just over 3 hours had passed since Lisa had been at the same Walmart, innocently shopping for her family's groceries. Now her son was there, shopping with her blood still potentially on his hands, while both of his parents lay dead in their home. The tragedy extended beyond the immediate crime. Upon hearing the news of her daughter's murder, Lisa's elderly mother was so devastated that she collapsed and was hospitalized. Her heartbreak was so profound that she passed away the day before Lisa's funeral, a mother who died from the sheer anguish of losing her child in such a horrific manner. Lisa's brother would later tell the court about his mother's overwhelming heartbreak, a testament to the profound, soul-crushing grief inflicted by Joel Jr.'s unthinkable actions.
But to find out your daughter was murdered by your own grandchild was heartbreaking. My mother died. There are 3 deaths on your hand, on Joe Michael Guy Jr.'s hands. On that day I lost my family. My mother is gone. My sister is gone. The world has forever changed. The impact of this crime is notorious. My grandchildren's grandchildren will be able to read about this horrible, disgusting crime. We will never, ever be the same.
The evidence against Joel Jr. continued to mount as the case approached trial, yet he brazenly pleaded not guilty. The truth, however, was far more sinister. Family testimony in Joel Jr.'s own notebook revealed a chilling motive: pure financial desperation. Throughout his life, Joel Jr. had been entirely financially dependent on his parents. Lisa had worked tirelessly, sacrificing the majority of her paychecks to support her son. But as they approached retirement, the couple made a difficult but necessary decision. It was time for their 28-year-old son to become independent and stand on his own feet. They planned to cut off his financial support, a decision that would prove fatal. Joel Jr. had somehow gotten wind of their intentions, and his reaction was nothing short of monstrous. Instead of facing the reality of becoming self-sufficient, he devised a cold-blooded plan. In his warped mind, if both parents were dead, he would gain access to their $500,000 life insurance policy. But the potential financial gain didn't stop there. He would also inherit their cars, boat, and other valuable assets. For most people, the mere thought of harming a family member is absolutely unthinkable. The concept of violence against those who have loved and supported you is so foreign that it seems impossible. Yet Joel Jr. not only killed the two people who had done nothing but care for him, he did it purely for money. During the trial, Joel Sr.'s family members took the stand to confirm the planned financial separation.
Well, the week before, they were at the house and we were talking about what they were going to do, and they said that they were going to wait till Christmas to talk to Joel Michael, that they were going to have him to start paying his bills and stuff.
Joel Sr. had been preparing to have this difficult conversation with his son during the upcoming Christmas celebration, a conversation that would have taken place in their new Serville home. Tragically, they would never get that chance. The depth of Joel Jr.'s betrayal was almost incomprehensible. Here was a son who had been unconditionally supported, loved, and provided for his entire life. His parents had worked tirelessly, sacrificing their own dreams and resources to give him opportunities. And how did he repay that love? By brutally murdering them in cold blood, all for the promise of financial gain. The courtroom would hear a betrayal story of a son who chose money over the two people who had given him everything. It was a narrative that would shock even the most hardened observers, a tale of greed so profound that it led to the most unforgivable of crimes.
And this was a close family. They like to talk. And they discuss these plans, and you just can bet that Lisa Guy, who was Mr. Joel Guy Jr.'s biggest fan, his enabler, his supporter, you know that she told him. She had to tell him in advance what he was in for, what was coming up for him. You know that happened. If they're talking about it with Michelle and Angela and Joel Sr.'s sisters in October and November, you know that the defendant knew about it, and you know that his mother told him. So he knew what was coming. And he's smart. He's smart enough to know that once his mom retires, once she quits her job, that insurance money is gone. He isn't getting that. He's not getting that. And he's not used to supporting himself. He's used to having the support and care from his mother, primarily, taking care of his needs, providing him with an apartment, with utilities, with a car, gas money, paying his bills, his tuition, paying for his books, paying for everything. He's used to having her pay for everything. And he wasn't about to let them cut him off.
A particularly grim detail emerged through Michelle Tyler, Joel Jr.'s half-sister. She revealed something chilling. She had actually seen the blue containers in Joel Michael Jr.'s car during their Thanksgiving celebrations, just 2 days before the murders. These very containers would later be used to store chemicals and horrifically dismember his parents' bodies. On the trial's second day, Tuesday, September 29th, disturbing footage was presented showing Joel Jr. at Walmart mere hours after murdering his parents. He was calmly purchasing bandages and plasters to cover the cut on his thumb, a wound he'd sustained while attacking his father. Prosecutors then displayed a series of haunting photos and videos from what could only be described as a house of absolute horror. The pot containing Lisa Guy's head was displayed in court, a grotesque piece of evidence that left many stunned. Multiple murder implements bore Joel Jr.'s fingerprints, cementing his involvement. Law enforcement officers took the stand, providing graphic testimonies. One officer's description was particularly haunting. He stated that the smell was something he would never be able to erase from his memory. Throughout these gut-wrenching descriptions, Joel Jr. sat eerily composed, showing no emotional reaction whatsoever. Each new detail presented in court peeled back another layer of Joel's incomprehensible cruelty. On the trial's third day, a forensic investigator provided perhaps the most disturbing testimony yet. They described the process of removing the liquefying bodies from the property, detailing how the flesh of Joel Guy Sr.'s head had been completely dissolved by the acid solution, leaving nothing but a skeletal remain. Joel Jr.'s only friend, Michael McCracken, an old roommate he'd known for nearly a decade, also took the stand. He painted a portrait of Joel as a socially awkward individual who had become increasingly reclusive with age. A particularly revealing phone conversation between them was played for the court, where Joel claimed Michael was the only good thing in his life.
I don't know what to say. All of that aside, I am angry and lost and confused and disappointed and upset and mourning you like your day, even though I'm talking to you on the phone and I don't. It's taking everything I have to process and maintain my sanity. I think of you all the time. You were the only good thing in my life. All the crap in the apartment. You're the only thing I'll miss.
In a strange moment of human vulnerability, Joel Jr. had sat stone-faced through horrific evidence and heartbreaking family testimonies. Yet, when his best friend appeared in court, it was the sole instance where he displayed any genuine emotion. The fourth day of the trial marked the beginning of deliberations. Joel Guy Jr. declined the opportunity to testify, and the charges against him were read out once more. The courtroom sat in tense anticipation, the weight of his unspeakable actions hanging heavily in the air. On Friday, October 2, 2020, the final chapter of this horrific story unfolded in the courtroom. Joel Guy Jr. was found guilty on every single charge, a comprehensive condemnation of his unspeakable actions. The jury's verdict was unanimous, delivering 2 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of first-degree felony murder, and 2 counts of abuse of a corpse. The prosecution's case was overwhelming, presenting over 700 pieces of evidence that methodically dismantled any potential defense. The mountain of forensic evidence, personal testimony, and Joel Jr.'s own meticulously documented plans left absolutely no room for doubt about his guilt. Joel Guy Jr. now resides at the Northwest Correctional Complex in Tiptonville, Tennessee, where he will spend the remainder of his life. His sentence is utterly devastating: 124 years of imprisonment, with a theoretical eligibility for parole set for April 30, 2136. In practical terms, this means Joel Jr. will never experience life outside prison walls again. This tragic story raises profound and troubling questions about family dynamics, mental health, and the depths of human capability for cruelty. How could a son plan and execute such a horrific act against the very people who had loved and supported him unconditionally? The tale of Joel and Lisa Guy is more than just a true crime story, it's a haunting exploration of human nature, and the sometimes invisible fractures that can develop within seemingly normal family relationships. Their story is a heartbreaking testament to the unpredictability of human behavior and the profound pain that can emerge from unaddressed emotional and financial tensions within a family. It challenges us to look deeper, to listen more carefully, and to recognize the potential warning signs of psychological distress. The Guy family story is a sobering reminder of the importance of communication, empathy, and mental health awareness. It underscores the critical need to reach out, to listen, and to seek help when family dynamics become strained or when individuals show signs of increasing isolation or emotional disconnect. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We work hard to gather evidence from reliable sources to bring you accurate and compelling stories about true crime. Your support means everything to us and keeps this channel going. So, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay connected with us. Be sure to click the notification bell as well so you never miss any of our future uploads. Until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you again soon.